New York City in the 1870s and 80s was continuing to grow at a rapid rate. Apart from the horse and buggy, the railroads were still the primary method of getting around and out of town. This also included bringing people from urban New York down to the beaches of Coney Island. The Brooklyn, Flatbush, and Coney Island Railway, also known as the Brighton Line, was one such way to escape the hustle and bustle of America's largest city. Service began on July 1, 1878, running from the Long Island Railroad connection at Flatbush through Prospect Park to the railroad's sizable Brighton Beach Hotel on Coney Island. It had 3 floors, 174 rooms, and spanned around 510 feet wide by 150 feet deep. It was a popular location amongst the competition. Only problem was, by 1887, the beach, and consequently the ocean, was getting a bit too close to the hotel. Storms in previous years had also done considerable damage to the beach. The ocean waves were eroding the building's foundation, and it was destined to be swept away if nothing was done to stop it. The hotel's then owner, George Engelman, and railroad officials James Jordan and Edward Langford hatched 2 plans to save the building. They could either elevate the beach by dumping more sand near the hotel, or move the entire building back 600 feet from the shore. The first idea was more of a temporary solution, so it was ruled out. Langford decided his railroad, the Brooklyn and Brighton Beach Railroad, the new operator of the Brighton Line, would move the hotel. In cooperation with moving company B.C. Miller and Sons, a rather outlandish feat of engineering was about to be undertaken. Small sections of the foundation were dug out, and hydraulic jacks with wooden blocks held the hotel up while the rest of the foundation was removed. 24 railroad tracks were then laid out next to each other on pilings, running from underneath the hotel to the north. 112 flat cars were rolled underneath the structure, and the hydraulic jacks then lowered it onto the cars. Thick ropes from the flat cars were strung to a steel cable parallel to the hotel, and more ropes were strung to the 6 locomotives tasked for the job. A test run took place on December 29, 1887. On February 25, 1888, a gale carried the surf nearly all the way to the hotel's new location. Because of this, railroad officials wondered if they should move the building even further back, at the expense of losing cool ocean breezes, which acted as the era's air conditioning. The original plan was put into action on April 6th. On cue, 6 locomotives slowly but surely heaved the nearly 5,000-ton building in unison to its new location. Locomotive crews had to open their engines' throttle simultaneously, as one misstep could mean severe damage to the hotel. After 10 long days, the Brighton Beach Hotel finally made it to safety. Cheers and locomotive whistles erupted in celebration. The tracks and equipment were removed, and the hotel reopened just in time for the season in June with a new boardwalk, garden, and music hall. But like anything, time continues to move on, and things eventually come to an end. The hotel would remain open until 1923 when it was demolished and eventually replaced with an apartment complex. Meanwhile, the Brooklyn and Brighton Beach Railroad would electrify its lines in the late 1890s into 1900. A series of mergers left the line through Brighton Beach in the hands of the Brooklyn Manhattan Transit Corporation. By 1953, the New York City Transit Authority took over, and these days it's part of the BMT Brighton Line with B&Q train service. The Brighton Beach neighborhood looks drastically different now than it did when its luxury hotel was around, but 135 years ago, it was the site of a unique and impressive feat of engineering.